Dom is here now, though. But the bad news is, Dom, is where we have to start, is it's one thing, right? I guess I feel a bit better now. It's not just me. You didn't just try to get away from LEC to get away from me. You're just trying to leave the entire region now.
Yes.
But here's what I want to ask you, right? Is that based on what's happened thus far, this split, unless something happened, like, I don't know, next year the GMs did the greatest job of all time and they made like 4 teams that were so stacked with all the best LEC players that you just had to watch. Like, based on the way the whole year's gone, you're just done with LEC, right? You are sort of like tapped out. It's gone too much.
I think that it's not even about necessarily just the quality of the league.
Oh, right.
It's also about the fact that I just didn't get co-streaming. And like let me tell you, like, I went through 3 different organizations to use their co-streamer slot. And by the final 2 organizations, like, these are the organizations in LEC. If I'm not
so
getting
they're just going out their way to not give you it, right? I see. Right.
Yeah, if I'm not getting their slot, I just know I'm never going to get co-streaming for the region. And for me, it's like, if I'm not enjoying watching the region and I don't have co-streaming, like, part of the reason why you do it is for selfish reasons, right?
Yeah.
For your brand. And obviously part of the reason why I still do LEC is that even though my viewers are more realistic, I mean, I don't think you stick around as one of my viewers if you don't like the truth. Like, if negativity brings you down, like, I'm not sticking around with my stream, you know, you're going to watch somebody else. But like, my viewers are more realistic. So even though like LEC is bad, a lot of them are still European and they're still going to watch it. It's kind of like you stick through the league through the bad so you can really appreciate the good. Same way for LCS this year. I think LCS has actually had a resurgence in terms of like the quality of the content. Like, I actually just enjoy watching it more. It just feels like there's more effort. Like, there's some type of buzz around it that's missing. And with LEC, the budget cuts are felt. You notice when you're watching LEC that there have been budget cuts and stuff like that. And the fact that it's like, I've put in so much time to the region and there's no benefit that I'm getting. Like, it's actually my lowest viewed content by far. It's it's like killing my stream borderline. Like, I'm fucking sitting here with 2,000 viewers. Last year, you know, I had like 7, 8 because the difference is now other people have co-streaming. When no one had co-streaming, it was a whole different ball game, right? Like, then it was like, okay, now we're all on the same playing field. I'm not playing the same game as everyone else now. Like, I'm getting blown out of the water by anyone who can co-stream. Which, you know, maybe would have happened anyway, but I feel like it's one of those things where if you're not there at the beginning, if you're not able to compete from the beginning, then people kind of settle and it's hard to come back. I mean, I had the same thing when I got banned from LCS where I was live viewing everyone else was co-streaming and it hurt my career. So when you combine both things, it's like, why am I still doing it? It's a big time investment. Like, I don't gain anything like monetarily from doing it. And it's not like growing my brand. So it's like on top of like on all fronts, it's been bad for me. So I think it's just a good time to call it quits. I mean, normally I'm the type of person that it's very hard for me to quit almost anything. Like, when I've been doing LEC, LCS, LPL, I'm kind of like there until like the bitter end. But I think that at this point, it makes sense to drop it. Also, I have CB LoL co-streaming rights, which is like at the same exact time as LEC, so it's impossible to do CB LoL and LEC. And then next year, there's going to be an America's South, America's North. So I think that for me, like, also a career-wise thing, I think that being like the biggest English-speaking expert on both of the regions, like the Americas region in general, could be an avenue for me. And I think that's just important as a content creator to have like some level of like growth in mind, some delusion where you're like, maybe I could like become the best by doing something like that, as opposed to like sitting there live viewing. It's like, who's going to watch my live view over other people that have co-streaming rights? Realistically, no one.
Dude, this is where Riot, unironically, are just terrible. They're just terrible at what they do. Because I know what you mean, Dom. One of the beauties of when you get to be a content creator, but you can to some degree choose what topic you cover, is obviously, like you said, the first reason you do it is because it's your job and you want to earn a living and you want to make money and you want to have like status, etc. But the beauty of being able to choose is you can then also pick something that you actually want to watch as well. Like, you can pick like, I'm into this. Like, I often say to people, whenever I do those long articles on Substack or a video or something, sometimes I also do it because it's sort of an excuse to go back and do the research and look up like some detail I wasn't quite sure of and I couldn't quite remember which game was it he did that pick of Ari on or whatever, you know. It's like an excuse to go back and do it because it's fun and I'm going to get reward in terms of finances, right? This is where Riot sucks, Dom, because you remember that notorious tweet that Mark Merrill had the audacity to do to you, where he was sort of like, you know, like, you're welcome to that free game you've made a living off. I would take that same premise, Dom, and spin it back to Mark Merrill and go, Mark Merrill, you guys are so stupid. A guy came along to a free game that you gave him for free with no money, and he was willing to dedicate all these hours for free to make like an extra type of commentary for your league that people who weren't satisfied with the other stream streams could go and watch. And even though he was doing it again, checks notes for free, you turned him down and said he can't do it anymore. Like, you guys just don't want to win. Like, this is why when Riot then act like, oh, we don't have money for this, bro, you can't even take shit that's free. In this analogy, that's like someone's just saying, like, well, there's a bag of money on the floor over there. You're like, yeah, but I don't like the writing of like the dollar sign on that bag, though. It looks a bit too edgy for me. It's like, you guys, you can't win, mate. You can't win, Riot. Like, why are you like this? Why are you? Because whenever they do it to any person in any major region, or the worst ones, obviously the international tournaments, when they don't give some like big core streamer who's put in the whole year's graft, like Worlds or something. It's like, what are you? Do you guys just hate your own game? Like, surely for the health of your own game, you'd want something like that. Because I even feel like, Dom, they can't even use the angle on you anymore that you're like edgy in any way. I actually think compared to like, first of all, how you were like 5 years ago, but also compared to the other people, like everyone else is roasting people too. I don't think you even really have particularly that much drama nowadays. Like the drama's more like fan stuff. It's not really like people in the scene. Like even that Yankos one was like a storm in a teacup, as we say in England. Was it a real drama? You know, it was like 5 minutes, wasn't it? You know.
See more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.